Hey guys, it's Kelly. I am back with another layout. I am in a collaboration today with Sarah Scraps, and we decided to use this cut file as our inspiration. We both saw this cut file when it was released, I think back in the fall, and Sarah reached out to me because we had both commented on the thread that Nicole had posted, you know, with the new cut files about how much we love this one. And Sarah was like, hey, why don't we do a collaboration with this? And I said, sure, as long as it's after Christmas. And well, we finally got around to getting up a date. So it was definitely a fun cut file to work with, and I will link it in the detail section below. So for me, I will be honest with you, I am really struggling right now with being inspired by what I have. I have scrapped, you know, for almost 18 years now, and I'm not saying that some of my supplies are that old, but I've got stuff that I'm going through, I'm trying to clean up. And I was looking at some of my things and I was like, ugh, don't want to use this, don't want to use this, don't want to use this. And I decided to challenge myself. So I am going to be using this 6x6 pad that I got at Michael's at some point. It's probably a year, maybe 2 years old. And I chose this because has not been touched. And I also chose it because of the watercolor papers. They're just gorgeous. So it allows me to back these cut files with this paper with very minimal work, because the paper is got some beautiful shading and that makes it easy for me. And I also just decided to cut out like the big shapes of the flowers and make it simpler. This is a pretty intricate cut file, and I did slow it down when I was cutting it out of my silhouette, just because I didn't want, you know, those smaller areas to tear. And don't worry, I don't leave all of my backing the cut file in, just because it's pretty tedious. But so the two things that I challenged myself were to use something that I had not used that was in my stash, which was that 6x6 paper pad, and then to use something old. And obviously you can look at this paper pad and see that yes, it is old. This was probably my most favorite collection that Dear Lizzy ever put out. I loved the colors. I don't even think I have any more of the stickers left. You know, this is pretty much what I have left of that. And so what I use today on the layout is going to be it. I'm going to toss everything else, just because, you know, there comes a point where you have to let things go. And I'm hoping by letting some of my older things go, I will find renewed inspiration when I go to create. So I love the 6x6 paper right here. I had it in the 12x12, and I did use, I think, every little bit of it. It is gorgeous. It's probably one of my favorite papers that Dear Lizzy has ever made, but it's not working on this. I think it's because there's so much color on the paper, even though the colors match the flowers, that I feel like the pattern is kind of competing against the cut file. So the other thing that I did is I pulled out Willow Lane embellishments by Maggie Holmes, because I love butterflies, flowers, birds, always go together, and I can always count on Maggie's collections to have something along those lines, and the colors worked fairly decent. So you're going to see me go through this paper pad a couple of times, just really trying to see if I can back the photo with a couple more patterns, or just, you know, make it a little bit more visually interesting. And you know, everything that I have left pretty much was either just not the right shade, or it just turned out to be a little too busy when I stuck it by the cut file. I think because the cut file is so intricate for my style, adding busier papers just takes away from it. I know other people can do it and it works beautifully. I am just a fan of less is more, I think. So anyway, you're going to see me. I'm going to rifle through those papers quite a bit. I'm going to play around with some embellishments and move them constantly. It was one of those things where I had not scrapped a 12 by 12 page in a while, and you know, it's like riding the bike. You know how to do it, but you're a little wobbly when you get going, and I was definitely a little wobbly. So the stickers that I did choose are from the Maggie Holmes Willow Lane, and the round one says "Together is the best place to be," and the black puffy one is also from Willow Lane, and it says "Love you always." And I'm going to just layer those on top, and that's going to be part of that cluster in that right hand side. This 12 by 12 paper is from Fancy Pants, and I love this paper. It is so cute. It has teeny tiny little royal blue hearts, and it's been in my stash for a while, so I'm just going to use the whole thing to mount my cardstock on. Normally I would probably gut it and save it, but you know, like I said, I'm trying to just downsize my stash just a little bit, so that I'm hoping that my creative juices will be a little bit more freely flowing by decreasing some of my stuff. So we'll see. So I decided to put that paper to the side and ruffle up the edge, and I'm going to off camera sew around the torn edges with just white sewing thread. I did it on an angle as opposed to framing the entire layout, because there's a lot, you know, it's definitely heavier in that upper left hand side, but I felt like when I put my picture down and then when I arrange my embellishments, it's going to have like a diagonal flow. So that was what I was going for when I did that. So most of the embellishments that I'm going to be using on the page are from Maggie Holmes Willow Lane, but I do go into my stash with the sticker book that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I know that you can also get it at scrapbook.com and maybe Joann's. I'm not sure about that though. But those are the embellishments that I chose to embellish this page. The picture is of me and my mom 2 years ago, and this was Mother's Day. And you know, I'll be honest with you, when I picked her up to go to church on this day, you know, my heart kind of sank, because it was one of those visual reminders of, yes, my mom does have dementia. You know, my mom always wore makeup and her hair was always done perfectly, and she was dressed for the season, and you know, it's May and she has on a, you know, winter long sleeve sweater, a long sleeve shirt, no makeup on, you know, and it was just one of those, you know, that your mom or your parent is changing, and it just hit me hard that day. And I know that people have said I should be documenting some of this. I'm just not ready. I just, you know, so I'm telling you because I want these thoughts to be down, because I am using it as a guide, but I can just distinctly remember when this picture was taken with those thoughts. Anyway, I do need to apologize because part of this did not get recorded. I will add a few other things in that bottom right hand corner to beef up that cluster, and add some gold mist to the page, but that is done off camera. However, I do have some close-ups where you can see what I've added and see how the page is balanced out. So be sure and check out Sarah's video with this beautiful cut file as well. I will link it in my detail section below. And I just want to thank Sarah for this idea. It was really fun to just create a layout to create and use this beautiful cut file that was designed by Nicole Noasad, which I will link below as well. Anyway, thanks so much for stopping by, and thank you for your lovely and supportive comments. They really do mean a lot. I hope to have another layout up for you soon, and If you have any purging advice, leave it for me. I am great with doing other people's stuff, but when it comes to mine, it's just much more difficult. So if you have any stash minimizing tips, leave them in the comment section for me below. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you have a great day. Bye.